I'm so happy you're here.
I'm happy to be
You've been on our list for a long time. You've been
Thank
on
you.
our list for a long time. So
You've been
everyone
on our list too.
Wow. Okay. Well, I can't wait to get into that.
My first list of many amazing podcasts.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is London, the six-figure Etsy.
Yes.
Do you want to formally introduce yourself?
Yes. Yeah. I'm London. I'm an esthetician here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And last year I officially became a six-figure esthetician. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing. And so much more than just that.
Yes.
But that is a huge celebration, knowing we met in like 2014.
Yeah,
we
2015.
Did. When did you go through?
I think it was 2015.
Yeah.
15. Yeah, 2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've known each other a long time.
It has been a long time.
And it's
almost 10 years.
My God, it has been.
Yeah.
Crazy. That's crazy. And just, we were talking before the show that, your life and how it's transformed, even really since COVID.
Yeah.
And we knew each other.
Even since 2015.
True.
I mean, my life is just completely like 180 flip. I mean, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
We're going to talk about that on the show.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a listener. This is my belief.
Okay.
There is, and this is a win for me. So how do I determine success for this show? Is that there's one person today that listens to this episode with you specifically, because I can talk all day long. I hear from you all the time. But you as the guest, you're going to speak to someone today, and they're going to alter the course of their life because they heard from you today.
I love that.
And I believe that. So I'm talking to you, whoever you are right now, whether you're driving to work or home from work, or you're at home and the kids are driving you crazy, or you're an esthetician and you're getting ready for your next client, whatever the case, this show is for you.
Yes.
Cool?
Yes, love it.
What is your clear intention for the show today, London?
My clear intention for this show is to speak from my heart, to be authentic, to aspire to inspire, and to just be real.
You always inspire me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about you.
You always leave me feeling happy. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, always. Okay. So let's start today. You're an esthetician in Las Vegas. And this year or 2022? 2022 was your first six-figure year.
Yes. 2022 was my first six-figure year. I just opened my own studio and I'm on track to make six figures. Actually more this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
I know. It's actually really crazy because I remember when I first started aesthetics, I mean, just a prerequisite. I'm getting over tonsillitis, so if I have to do a little cough mic, I'll do that. But when I first became licensed, I had really severe cystic acne. I almost didn't finish school. I remember one of the girls in school kind of like talking down to me a little bit because I had such bad acne, and she was asking me like how I expected to have clients or how I expected to be able to help people if I couldn't even help myself. And it's really hard. I remember going home that day and just like crying to my mom, and my mom was like, honestly, that's going to help you relate to your people so much more, and you're going to be able to understand where they're coming from. So if I didn't have that talk with my mom, I probably wouldn't have finished school. But I remember joining Facebook groups, specifically one called the Six-Figure Esthetician, and every week I was going on there like looking, okay, how are these people doing it? And people would post like screenshots like, I made $2,000 this year, I made $4,000 or this week, like I made this much money a week, and I remember feeling so inspired by that. So the fact that I made six figures last year and I'm on track to make more, or I mean six figures, but make more than I made last year is like, it's insane.
Independent too.
Yes, independent.
So there's a stat out there. One of my business coaches threw out this stat when I was on her podcast, but less than 6% of female business owners make six figures.
That's insane.
Isn't that crazy? Of all the amazing women out there running businesses, six figures, something happens. Because when I talk to women and I'm like, how much money do you want to make? And the first thing they say is six figures. Something in our brains, like there's something prestigious about that, and that we've done something by making that amount of money, because the truth is that most women will never make that amount of money. And I know that there's a lot that goes into that as a business owner, where it's not all take home. Yeah. We don't take all of that home. Yeah. But the fact that your business is generating that, you're 31 years old. When did you start as an esthetician?
So I want to just say real quick, excuse me.
She's clearing her throat.
Yeah, that 6-figure is take home for me.
Oh, it's take home for you. Okay, high five. Even bigger high
five. And then this year, my take home will also be 6 figures.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
okay,
just to
good.
clarify.
No, thank you. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying.
I'm sorry. What was your question?
Nothing. We're done.
Oh, okay.
That was it.
Sorry. I'm like, I just want to clarify that.
So on top of your business expenses, your take home is 6
yes.
figures. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool.
It's, I mean, again, it's almost, I feel sometimes it's hard to wrap my mind around, but I think that my relationship over the past like 10 years with money has changed. And I mean, you said that you ask your people what their take home is, or like what they want to make. Goal. Yeah.
What their goal is. And it's 6 figures.
Yeah. I love that.
We get there, and then the next 6 figures, and the next 6 figures, and then $1 million, and all the things. Where I was originally going with that is, how long have you been in the industry?
So I've been in the industry since 2010. So I started as a spa concierge.
Gotcha.
I was working at Starbucks before and tutoring kids with autism. And I just decided that I wanted to try something different and just randomly applied for a spa. And the spa manager just loved me. And I'm so thankful that she gave me that opportunity, because I really was able to just fall in love with the world and the spa world and the industry. And then I got licensed in 2014, I believe.
Almost 10 years.
I know, almost 10 years.
Yeah. So it's been a journey.
It has been.
And even before that, like we talk about on our show, is that for any successful woman that's come onto my show, there's a backstory.
Yes.
And for actually every successful woman, there's a backstory. Do you mind taking a step back and sharing some of that backstory?
No, not at all.
Talk about all the amazing things that you're doing and are creating. Okay. Where were you born?
I was born in Cedar City, Utah.
Okay.
Yeah, a really small town.
Yeah, super small back then.
But now they have a stoplight and they have a Walmart. And when I went back, I think they've got it. They got a stoplight in a Walmart like maybe 10 years ago. But I had gone back and was driving through Main Street and was like, oh my gosh, there's a stoplight here. Oh my gosh, there's a Walmart. This is so cool. So it's grown so much, but it's a cool little town.
Cedar City's kind of like the pass through the Brian Head.
Yes. Yeah. And a lot of fun cities. There's a lot of, fun stuff to do up there. Camping and, all that good stuff. But, so I was born in Cedar City, but I'm from Yuma, Arizona. It's a really, really small town. It's like a agricultural town, but my whole family's out there.
Still out there?
Mm-hmm.
When did you move to Vegas?
I moved to Vegas when I was 7, 8.
Okay. What was life like growing up?
I feel like I have two perspectives of that I could step into. The challenging parts, and then the really fun parts.
Let's talk about both.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was really fortunate that my mom really tried everything that she could to just give us the best life. Like my sister and I was actually listening to Spice Girls on the way over here. And that was my first concert, and I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, my mom was like working her butt off so she can give me like these coolest things, like the coolest experiences. Like we went to Disneyland all the time. Like we did so many fun activities. So that was really cool. I think that when we were living in Yuma, I was living on the reservation, and from my perspective, that was fun.
She's clearing her throat.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Because it was a good sense of community. I didn't have, as a kid, so I didn't have any of those ideas or anything that was really going on, like in the quote real world.
Yeah.
But when we moved to Vegas, I know that my mom and my dad were struggling financially. I think that they did a pretty good job not really letting us know that too much, but I mean, we didn't live in a good area when we first moved here, and when we finally had moved to a better part of town, things were getting really scary around our house, and there was some like not very good things happening in the neighborhood, with like police tape and things like that. So, I mean, my parents really hustled to do what they could to get us into a good area and keep us in a good area. I mean, shout out to my parents for doing that, so.
Yeah. What did they do for a living? What were your parents' trades or careers?
So my dad was in construction. He did construction his whole life. He ended up becoming like a superintendent and, managing crews and stuff like that. So when I was a kid, we were comfortable. And then 2008 happened, and then the market crashed, and my dad lost a lot of work, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom after she had my younger siblings, and yeah, that's when things started to get really challenging.
Gotcha.
So I'm one of 6 kids, and there's a big age gap between myself and my youngest sister. So that was challenging. But again, I know that my mom really tried to give us the best life and have experiences and, you know, like get to go to movies and things like that. So, and I remember with my grandma helping me with a lot of things like paying my phone and things like that. And also my grandpa, he would pay me when I was in middle school and some of high school. I would wake up at 6 in the morning and go to work with him. He was a construction worker, and he owned his own business, and I would either clean up the sites for him or would do like a little easy hammering, the tiniest little job, and he would pay me. And I thought that was the coolest thing, to have my own money. And I mean, my mindset with money, I feel like I just was always like
generating,
wanting to generate it and figuring out ways that I could generate it. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
So making money was motivation for you.
Everything. I think making it and spending it, really, because I just wanted to. And in high school, I mean, when I remember wanting to have things like clothes and I mean, like lotions and all that fun stuff, and wanting to figure out how I could make money to have those things, because I didn't like my parents telling me that I couldn't have that because of their budget or
their circumstances.
That didn't work for them. Yeah. Right. So I was like, okay, well, let me figure out how I can get it then. And then I did. I started working really young, and I haven't really stopped.
Right. And then you made a decision. So you're working at Starbucks through high school or right after high school?
I started working at Starbucks when I was 16, and I left when I was 19.
Okay. Yeah. And then you started working, you're on your path to esthetician, becoming an esthetician.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. What in that journey in your 20s, well, let me like framework this. So you have younger siblings. There's 6 of you total. Where are you in the mix?
I'm the oldest
of all 6.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you have a, as the oldest, I guess people could probably write in and tell us, like, if I'm right on this. Let me know if I'm wrong about this. But what I know about, like, the oldest and placement in families is that typically the oldest is, like, the more responsible one, the more, not caretaker necessarily, but is, like, more driven.
Yes.
And that sounds like that you carried that forward.
100%. Yeah. I've actually had a really in-depth heart-to-heart with my sister, who's the closest in age to me. We're 4 years apart. We had this conversation, I think, 3 years ago, and she had kind of reminded me that I need to be a sister sometimes and not a mom. And that was a really big, I guess, mindset shift for me, because I hadn't thought about how that would feel like from my siblings' perspective, for me to just be like the one telling them what to do all the time, or trying to keep time, or trying to keep everything together. But I still think of that piece of advice that she gave me a lot, actually.
Yeah. Were you always receptive to that kind of feedback?
No. Not at all.
You're a very strong woman.
Yes.
Yeah. And being the one, the older sister, the one to feel like you're raising your other siblings, are they all girls?
We have one boy in my family.
Yeah.
Poor thing,
right? So you're like leading your own way, and then also taking care of your siblings. That's a lot of responsibility in your 20s. How did you handle that?
I just did. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't even a question for me. When I was in high school working, I mean, I didn't have to pay rent, or I didn't have bills. So I actually made really good money in high school, because I got paid $17 an hour to tutor kids with autism. And at one point I had 4 families. And that's a lot of money to make an hour for a high school kid. And I was making, I think, $8.50 or $8.25 at Starbucks, which for at the time was pretty high. Yeah. And got weekly tips. So I would take my siblings out to go do stuff all the time. If I wasn't buying clothes or things that I wanted, we would go to Dave & Buster's, or I would take them on little dates individually. And my brother and I, for example, like to go get Slurpees at 7-Eleven and watch the planes land. That was like such a core memory. I love that.
The 7-Eleven across the street?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I love that.
And get all the different flavors.
Yes. The suicide is that what it's called?
Oh, I never heard that before.
Yeah. You mix them all together.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Yeah. But, so navigating, I guess, was just, I mean, I just did it. I didn't, I think that I'm someone who just figures out how to make things happen. If I want something, I will do whatever it takes to do it. Like, because I also have that mindset, if someone else can do it, then I can do it too. Like, if someone else can have that, why can't I have that?
Yeah.
So,
amen to that.
Figure out just how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So what we were sharing before the show, and this is probably in your 20s when our lives, you were in your 20s when our lives intersected.
Yes.
I was in my 30s. And when I just had started money coaching, doing my business, we had a conversation. But before that, we knew each other from a common experience that we had gone through.
Yes. What
was your life like at that time? So what I'm hearing you say is that you learned how to make money to spend it on the things that you wanted. And now at 31, that has shifted, maybe, which we'll talk about.
Yes.
But you didn't have a formal financial education. You were motivated just to go make more money to be able to do the things that you wanted to do, right?
100%.
So how did that look in your 20s? What was that like? Because did you take on loans to go through school?
No.
Okay.
So I'm very, very, very grateful and very, very, very fortunate that I didn't have to do that.
Okay.
So in my 20s, I was very, very, very poor. I had no money, like zero money. When we met, I was living in an apartment with one of my good friends, and it was a 2-bedroom apartment in a really bad part of town. And I had zero furniture. Zero. Like, you would walk in and it was this cute little apartment, but no dining
couch.
table, no couch, no TV stand. I don't even think we had art on the wall. I mean, we had dishes, so that's good. And
did you have a bed?
I did have a bed.
Okay.
Because before that place, I was living in a studio apartment downtown, and my rent was $500, and I was struggling to even make that. It was really bad. I had gotten some eviction notices a couple times, and I somehow just figured it out, though.
That's what we do.
Yeah, I just was like, oh, okay, well, now I've got to pay an extra $125 because I'm late, but I'll figure it out, and I always did. And
you were working as an esthetician at that time?
At the time I was living in the studio apartment, I was actually working at a call center. And I had just left a business that was not paying me for several months. And I had to decide that it wasn't working for me. It was a business that was in skin. And to be fair, looking back, I understand where they were coming from, because they had said that the technique is basically, me learning the technique is paying.
Yeah, like mentoring.
Right, which I appreciate. I still use the technique to this day, so I have no malice towards that idea. But at the time, I had just decided that I needed to make money because I couldn't pay my bills with that idea or that skill or that technique, really. So I was working at a call center, and I had opened a waxing studio because I figured I gotta do something. I need to start working in skin and make it happen. And it wasn't working at all.
Yeah. And waxing is not the most lucrative side of esthetician, being an esthetician, and also so many men and women in that esthetician field, you're making, $100 at a time, or $200 at a time, or $50 or $12 at a time. Like, the money rolls in very little bits. And so to try to save that, if you never learned how to save, was that hard?
Yeah. It was super hard. I mean, I was living, like, I want to say paycheck to paycheck, but it was literally
day to day, right?
Day to day, yes. So I remember, like, donating plasma and getting money for that, and selling things that I had, like TVs and little things. But yeah, so I had, so after, to answer your question, long-winded question, or long-winded answer rather, I did have a bed in the apartment. I had everything that would fit into my bedroom, so.
What made you want to move out in the first place?
Of my house,
Yeah.
growing up?
Yeah.
I have always just been really independent, and my mom and I were not getting along, and I moved out the day I turned 18. We were arguing about some stuff that I was really frustrated about, and I just was like, you know what? This isn't working for me. I'm gonna move out, and I just got all my stuff in my room, and I moved out.
Yep.
And I moved into my friend's house that lived one street over from us, and then I think about 2 weeks later, I had my own apartment. And at the time, I was working at the spa, so I was making great money, like really good money for my age.
Okay.
So
never looked back.
Never looked back.
Never moved back home.
Never moved back. Well, actually, I have moved back home twice. When I've gone through breakups, but I wasn't there long. It was like a temporary thing. So
yeah. No, go home, get back out.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good for you.
Get back on my feet.
Get back on your feet. Yeah. Okay, cool. That's a really important part of your story. And I think that for a lot of people listening, and a lot of women in particular listening, is that what got you through those parts, what I'm hearing you say got you through those parts, was your determination.
100%.
Yeah. No one came in to like bail you out. Right? You didn't have a rich uncle.
No. I mean, that would be nice if you're out there. Nice. Message me. I'd still love that. No, I never had any help. And but I think that's part of why I've become so successful, because I knew that there wasn't anyone there to catch me. Like, if it was going to happen, it was going to be entirely up to me. If it's to be, it's up to me.
Yeah. And
I just, even when I was down and things weren't working out and I was really stressed out and figuring out, how am I going to pay for this? Like, I have all these bills coming in, or just all the things that come with finances. And I think even just day-to-day living, it's, I just trusted myself, and which I think has eventually evolved my relationship with money and how I see money now. And I mean, yeah, it's been such a great and scary journey.
Great and scary.
So if you're out there, you're struggling, you're not sure how you're going to make it, you will. You will. You always will.
Bet on yourself, though.
Yeah, 100%.
That's a theme that we hear over and over and over again on the show, is that women are standing up and saying, you got to bet on yourself.
Yeah, because if you don't believe, like, here's the thing that's so crazy to me, is a lot of people, especially I think as women, we will support everyone else. Like, you're everyone else's biggest cheerleader. You see people doing things, you're like, I'm so proud of you. You're crushing it. You're doing great. And then when it comes to you, excuse me, when it comes to you, you have those doubts and those fears and those like limiting ideas that are holding you back. And it's like, why is it that you're cheering all these other people on, but you can't cheer yourself on? Like, you need to look yourself in the mirror and say, like, you know what, girl? Like, you are the baddest bitch out there, and you got this. Like,
that's right.
You can do whatever you put your mind to. And that's, I mean, and that's still, I still struggle with that sometimes, but it's a practice. It's a daily practice, you know? And I look myself in the mirror, and I can feel myself, like, getting kind of, I don't know, just hard on myself or my appearance, or, like, I'm questioning my worth even. And I'm like, I'll look myself in the mirror and be like, I love your eyes. Like, I love your hair. I love this. Like, you're strong. You're brave, or you're girl boss, like all these things. And then I instantly walk away and I'm like, yes. Like, yes, ma'am, I am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So,
I love that so much.
You know, when you're struggling and you're having those thoughts, just, I definitely, if you're out there listening, I definitely invite you to practice that, because even if you just do it one time, just like 1 second is all it takes. You have that negative thought about yourself, just instantly like flip it and think like, how can I turn this into a positive, or what can I say good about myself? And then eventually it's going to be like a snowball effect, and you're saying, then you start saying more good things about yourself than bad things, and then
your biggest cheerleader.
Your biggest cheerleader. And then what's cool is you can be even bigger cheerleaders for everybody else.
That's right. That's right. You become your biggest cheerleader, and then you can go out and make that happen for other people. And you are that for so many people.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. You got me through a really rough time too, which we'll talk about after the break. So we have to take a break. We get to take a break.
Yes.
We're going to take 2 minutes.
Cool.
We're going to come back and talk about all of the ways that you cheerlead other people, and the cool things that you're up to today and more wisdom.
Love it.
London. Okay, cool. We'll be back in just a couple minutes, but here's what I want you to hear. In my world, I am on a mission for women to become the leaders of their lives financially. And a lot of that has to do with mindset, which London, you and I were talking about just a second ago. The other part of that is you got to know what to do with your money. And a lot of people never learn. London pulled a card, so we haven't done this in a while, from Louise Hay. And we have her card that says, life is simple and easy. And it's funny, this picture is a picture of a person riding a horse, which I do not equate to being simple or easy.
I grew up riding horses.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's perfect for you then. Oh my gosh. Okay. It says, all that I need to know at any given moment is revealed to me. I trust myself and I trust life all as well.
Honestly, best card I've could have pulled. I relate to this so much.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we were just talking about it at the first half of the show, even. That you have to, as an older sibling with 5 other siblings, I know you've played a big role in raising them, not always easy, but then trusting yourself to follow your path. Was it easy for you to make decisions and just keep moving forward? That's not easy for a lot of people.
I think some decisions it was really easy for me. I think there's probably a big chunk of things that I had a really hard time with. I think mostly relationships though. Not sure if I should move on or what I should do, and definitely when I was feeling stuck with some things that were happening in my life, because they were big decisions. But I will say, when I get past that cloud, so to speak, I am 100% in my decision. Like, if I make a decision, it's my decision. I'm owning it. Like, it is my decision. So I have that little cloud where I'm like questioning and unsure, and then after that, it's like, nope, this is what we're doing. Yep.
I love that about you.
Thank you.
I think other women can learn a lot about how to do that. That's a big question we get in coaching. And like, as a coach, I'm really on a mission to not become a codependent partner with my clients, which they don't like a lot.
Yeah.
It's like, no, what are you going to do?
100%.
You have to own this choice. What was it for you? So one thing that women will share on the show a lot is that they had to do the inner work to get where they are today. For you, you were pretty young when you went through Choice Center.
Yeah.
That's where I had initially met you. What was that work like for you?
Oh my gosh. It was so amazing because I wasn't resistant to growing or learning. I wanted to I wanted to, anything that I could get my hands on that would better me as a person, I was 100% there for.
Yeah.
Like, as long as it was legal. For the most part. But I just wanted to learn as much as I could, and I really think that then and now I'm just like a sponge. Like, I just want to hear everyone's advice. Boz Lerman had actually said this really cool thing that he says be careful to listen to everyone's advice, but be very selective to who you listen to.
Yep.
Or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Paraphrasing.
Yep.
But I've always loved that, because I can get something from every conversation. So when I had the opportunity to go through Choice, I was just 100%, just like we're talking about, like, committed. Like, I wanted to just be there and learn. And
what was the biggest thing you learned about yourself?
That I'm worthy and that I matter, because I definitely struggled with that. Excuse me, I have to clear my throat. But it was definitely challenging. I mean, you're literally looking in the mirror with
pretty much
everything that you have, like
your decisions, your choices,
your mindset. I am very grateful that I went, because I say that since I was so committed to the work, that I am still to this day putting a lot of those things into practice. And I think that's the reason I have really been able to do a lot of things. 100%.
That's a huge piece of it. Anybody can, I say this in my world all the time, anybody can get inspired, and you can go through a weekend program or a 90-day program, and Choice Center is one of hundreds of different programs that you could go through. Tony Robbins is kind of like that, where you can invest in yourself and you can go and you can feel really inspired, but you've got to do the work.
100%. I think that it's like, I like to say that it's like a muscle. Like, you can go to the gym one time and do some sit-ups and feel good. And like, I don't know if anyone else feels like this, but sometimes when I go to the gym one time, I'm like, ooh, like, I got abs already. Like, I'm feeling like I'm standing taller. I feel stronger. Like, I'm like, I got a definition of my biceps already. But you can't just go one time. Like, you have to go several times, and then you really get to see the results. So personal growth, personal development is like an exercise. You have to do it every single day. You have several opportunities throughout the day to do it every moment of your day.
Yeah.
Whether you're in line at the grocery store, or you are with your kids, or you're at work, like you constantly have opportunities to like flex that muscle. And it's a constant practice.
This is a great segue. So you went from you know, having an aha about your worthiness, and over this past decade, you've been flexing your financial muscle.
Yes.
And coming back to money, knowing that this is what the show is all about.
That's why we're green.
That's right. We're green. Let's talk about how you've become financially fit and the things that you've done that have made a difference for you getting to that 6-figure mark and now sustaining it.
Yes.
So yeah, let's talk about that journey. Okay.
I love that phrase, by the way, financially fit.
Yeah.
I like that, like, image. So I mean, so I think that my biggest learning was that I am worthy. And once I had that realization, then I think that a lot of things started to like a lot of doors started to open up for me, because kind of going back to what I was saying before with like looking in the mirror and being your biggest cheerleader, I started to have this relationship with myself that I had never had before, and realizing that if I wanted to have the money or have the things and to be financially fit, I had to kind of see my worth.
You had to.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no other way to say that. Yeah.
Right.
I think that with having that realization, my relationship with money has changed so much, because like, okay, so for example, now I think that I just have the mindset that I'm abundant.
Yeah.
And that I mean, I'm realistic with my goals, and I know what I can spend and what I can't spend, and I have like a very detailed breakdown of what my bills are, how much money I need to make a month to just cover my bills, what I want to spend for saving or have for savings or travel or fun stuff and things like that. But excuse me. I think that I'm so sorry, I just lost my train of thought.
You know what song I think about every time you do that is "Let Me Clear My."
I don't want like that. I like that.
We just like,
yeah, I love it.
We're just gonna break into song and dance every time you clear your throat. Anyway, sorry, I digress.
No, I love that. I love that.
We'll talk. So you have to believe. This is belief. This is mindset. This is a really really important piece to wealth generation. Is that you have to, on some level, believe that you're worthy. And like you had alluded to, not just financially, but in relationship. Right?
In every aspect. I mean, in every area of your life, whether it's friendship, like to me, when I think of money, I think of abundance. And abundance to me is not just money. It's everything.
Yeah.
Any area of your life, whether it's hobbies, whether it is work, relationships, friendships, career, I mean, even food, like the things that you're consuming, like mentally, like it's all wealth, it's all abundance. So it really plays a huge factor in your life if you feel like you're worthy to receive that, and if you feel like you can achieve it.
Agreed. What was the journey like from when you and I reconnected in 2020? It was COVID, and I needed help. And you were in some kind of question of your life or what you were doing. You were building your esthetician business.
Yes.
And at the same time, you still chose to come and help me, which I really, really needed at the time. She came and helped me with my son Range, and he was home, and he's had a lot of challenges. So, what was that decision about for you? And you've grown so much even in the last 3, almost 4 years. So you were driving, what was it?
Girl, that was a hoopty. that was my war pony for sure.
Your war pony.
That was a really busted car. So before that car, I was driving a stick shift Honda Civic.
Okay.
And it was falling apart. And my incredible partner was like, you know what? I know that you need a car, and I know that you don't really have the money to do so, so let me buy this car for you. Mm-hmm. And it was a $500 Acura, and it was an improvement.
Was it gold?
It was gold. Yeah. It was a metallic gold, baby.
Yeah.
It was falling apart. Like the power, there was no power steering, so I had to fill up the power steering like every like couple of days, and sometimes I would be a little bit lazy and not fill up power
What did
steering.
you do with no power steering?
I had to use my biceps. That's how my arms got so rough, because I would like have to use and my core strength to like turn the wheel sometimes.
Okay.
But yeah, I was driving a really crazy car at the time. And actually during 2020, I was just looking for something to do on my days off, because I feel like I just like to do things. I just like to be involved, and like, especially after not really doing anything for several months, and spending some time at home, and I got really, really good at doing a lot of crafts, which I loved. But when I went back to work, I was working 4 days, but one of the days it was like 2 or 3 hours. So I felt like I had all of this extra time, and I just wanted to contribute to something and feel a part of something. And I think Cashley and I were talking about that, and she had mentioned that you're looking for help, and I was like, didn't even hesitate. Like, sign me up. I want to do it. Like, let's do this.
It was a godsend for me.
Me too. It really was. I just want to say that I have always been so inspired by you. You have this grace about you, which is just very comforting and very welcoming. And I remember the first time I met you, I was like, who is this woman? Like, I just wanted to like just listen to what you had to say and just be in your presence. And so for that, I think honestly being at your house is really what inspired me to like get my shit together, so to speak. I mean, we had talked about that first week that I made over $2,000 for the company I was working for. I didn't make $2,000. Yeah. But I made them $2,000, and then I made myself $2,000, and you had said, if you keep that up, you're gonna make 6 figures. And I was like, oh yeah, I totally will, huh? So then I was totally in hustle mode. So as much as I might have helped you, you definitely helped me. So that was like a nice way to start my day, Monday through Friday.
I love it. Yeah, you like saved me. I mean, COVID was hard for so many reasons. And this is why I believe in the power of community. Like, if you're watching this show on YouTube, you'll see right behind London, there's a picture of women that we really don't do this alone. And I know I couldn't do it without powerful and amazing women like you in my life, and us championing each other, right?
I resonate with that so much. In fact, it gets me a little bit emotional sometimes, because I think we've talked about this before. When I was in Vegas before, I had this idea that Vegas was like just crappy and there's crappy people everywhere. And then when I moved back, I kind of realized that I think that I was just attracting those types of people. But community, it's just absolutely incredible. I mean, especially opening my own business, I signed my studio lease in January, but the past few months, the overpour of love, I might get a little emotional. The overpour of love from people in the community and the support is just, it's unreal. Yeah, it's absolutely unreal. And I love it. I'm here. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. Vegas is a really cool place. Henderson.
It is.
Where did you open your studio?
I signed, it's on Las Vegas and Warm Springs.
Las Vegas Boulevard and Warm Springs.
So it's like right in the center of town.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's the coolest, best place ever. I've gotten such good feedback about it, and how the vibe is just the best.
Yeah.
They're immaculate.
Yeah.
The vibes be vibing.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. Well, if you're struggling as a woman in the world today, and this is for men too, men actually isolate themselves way more than women, is that like Vegas in particular, gosh, like I'm so grateful day after day after day to be around such incredible people. This is an amazing community. So if you're just new to Vegas or you're thinking about coming to Vegas, I'll be abundant and say, come on down.
Come on down, baby. Come on in. The water's just fine. We'd love to have you.
That's right. That's right. And it's not for it's not for everyone. Yeah. But having a community is crucial to success, in my opinion.
I agree. You have to. I think just as you have to be your own cheerleader. It's important to have other cheerleaders in your life.
That's right. That's right.
People to rely on.
Yeah. If where it just made me think of this because you have a really awesome Instagram page. What's your Instagram page?
London Esty. It's LONDON the ESTHI.
Yeah, you've got to follow her. It's like very educational, but very vibrant and entertaining and fun, and you'll get a really good idea of who London is and what.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that's my goal with my Instagram. Yeah, is to be an extension of myself.
Yeah,
and I my goal with I don't even like to say clients because I feel like they're more than that. My goal with my people, as I call them, is to just really connect. I love connection. I love that part of the aesthetics world. And there's also something really vulnerable about getting a skin treatment or a wax. Like if you're getting a facial, I mean, the lights are dark, like there's soft music playing, like someone's touching your face. It feels nice, and people really open up and tell me a lot of things. And I mean, my goal is to really just help everyone feel worthy, lovable, beautiful, or handsome, just like the best version of you. And I try to like relay that through my Instagram too.
I love that. Thank you. So if you're looking to be around people or have someone show you the way, London's definitely someone who's walking the talk of what that looks like.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so from 2020 to today, that's a short window of time. What I do know is you've moved a couple times, but now you're a homeowner.
I'm a homeowner.
Yeah. What was that like getting the keys?
It was emotional because I'm the first homeowner in my family. And that's pretty rad.
Including your parents?
Including my parents, yeah. They had bought a home right before the crash, and then they lost it. But I think really out of it, even uncles and aunts and cousins, I'm the first person in my family to own a home. So that was really emotional. And actually, the night that we got my keys, my boyfriend had COVID, and my grandma was in town, and we had no power in the house. And my grandma and I went in and literally sat in the dark, and we were just like a little emotional, like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And they had balloons for us, which was really sweet, and I think like some vodka or something, which I didn't partake in, but
it's okay that you did.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't.
It's okay.
Yeah, I gave that to my neighbor actually. Like, there you go. But it was really cool. So yeah, a short 3 years since we rekindled, my life has just completely changed. So now I no longer have the gold war pony, the Acura that was falling apart and didn't have power steering.
What do you have?
I have a Benz baby.
What's its name?
That's a great question. I will get back to you on that. I haven't named her yet.
If you want to help name her, hop onto Instagram. We can do that together.
Yes.
You don't have to have a name for your
car. Oh, I'm open to having a name. I just haven't thought of it.
Yeah. What an amazing time to celebrate everything that you've accomplished and will accomplish. I really believe this is just the beginning.
I do too. And I feel like I was just telling one of my really good friends that I feel like my life right now is 10 out of 10 across the boards.
Yeah.
And I think it goes back to having that worth and knowing that no matter what happens or no matter what I experience, I am still worthy and I still get to have it all. Through the struggles, the ups and downs. I mean, the past 3 years wasn't easy. I had a lot of challenging paths, but I mean, again, I just made it happen and know that I can do it. And I mean, if you're struggling out there and you're wondering if you can do it, again, you can. And
you can.
You absolutely can.
You can. And contextually, as an American woman, you absolutely can. We know that there's so many women around the world today that are still in very difficult, challenging places. And I believe this. I said this on stage on last Wednesday for a conference I was speaking at, is that we are leading the way and championing the way as American women today. So cheers to that.
Yeah, cheers to that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yep. So with just a couple of minutes to close, you shared a lot of your heart today. Thank you for doing that. And I know, again, someone's listening to this, whoever you are, and benefiting from this conversation. But what's on your heart to share in the last couple of minutes of the show today?
Let me drop into my heart and think for a second. I think it's really just what we've been talking about, is that you really matter, and you get to have whatever it is that you want. If you're going through a really challenging time in your life, if you're struggling in any area of your life, whether it's financially, relationship wise, you're really hard on yourself for your appearance, like you get to have whatever it is that you want, and you can achieve it. And I love you.
I love that. I love you too. I love you, London.
I love you, Lisa, so much. And I love you out there, whoever's listening or watching.
That's right. Life is full of love.
It is.
We get to be what's missing in our lives, and then go create that for other people. So that's going to be my call to action today. If you're listening, however you're listening, as always, so grateful that you could be a part of this conversation. And my call to action is that for you, whatever that is that's missing in your life, love, money, career, purpose, find it for yourself first. Do the work, find it for yourself, and then go share it out with other people. That's a life worth living. That's abundance.
It is abundance.
Yeah. So to the next 6 figures, I cannot wait to see what this decade brings you, and hopefully back on the show very soon to talk about and celebrate what the next chapter of this amazing 6-figure life is all about.
Yes.
And thank you for sharing and being vulnerable. And the last thing that I'll say leading the show is that, London, you're changing the narrative for your family and for your sisters. And that's pretty amazing.
Oh man, that's going to make me cry.
No, I don't mean to make you cry, but I'm going to cry. Gosh dang it. We're all crying.
Yeah, it's okay.
And we
crying's good.
That is. So good for you. And I'm championing you. And however we can help you on Real Money, we're here.
Thank you.
Yeah, for all of you watching on YouTube or listening to the show today, let's share some love out into the world.
Yes.
Let's embrace our power and our worthiness together. And we'll be back next week with a brand new guest. Thank you for being here, London.
Thank you for having me. I love to be here.
Yeah. All right. High five. All right. We'll catch you next week. Thank you for joining Real Money.